Hey folks, it's Friday and I hope everyone's had a wonderful week. We just finished packing out some lumber and loading up a truck, sending a customer on his way. So finally done with our little bit of work we had to finish out for the week. But anyway, we got a little time on our hands now, so I don't have any pressing jobs to do. So I got a little time to take care of some projects I need to take care of around here. The first project on the agenda is our well. This is the main well for our house. We had to pull it out a couple of months ago. Well, it's been about, I think it was the beginning of the summer we pulled it out. But it had a busted pipe going down to the well pump and we had to pull it all the way out. We pulled it by hand, pulled it all the way out, fixed the fittings in it, placed the pipe and put it back together. But when we pulled that out, we had to tear this old well house apart because it was made out of cinder blocks and it had a roof on it and it was just kind of janky anyway. So instead of going back with the old cinder block style, we're gonna build a wooden structure here. See the old blocks? We got the tin. We're gonna try to reuse this tin. So we're gonna build a structure out of this out of wood, and instead of getting all extravagant, I do want it to look nice, but I don't want it to be too complicated. So I think we're gonna go with like a pole barn style with board and batten siding. And I think it'll look good. We use some of that poplar we have for the board and batten siding. Make it look real nice and clean and maybe paint it. I've got some of those colored stains, barn color stains that look good. I think we're gonna make it look nice. I don't want it to be an eyesore. But anyway, we got to cut some lumber first. I'm going to use 4 posts in the ground, and instead of using like pine, I'm going to use cedar. We use cedar posts so they don't rot because I'm not putting cement in and I'm not putting any kind of treated posts. So we're going to use what we have right here on the farm. Right up here by the well, we've got some nice sized cedars up here, pretty decent logs. They've been sitting here for over 20 years. Can you believe that? All the sapwood's going off of them. I needed to move these a long time ago anyway. I think what we're gonna do now is make our post out of some of these. We need to get these down to the sawmill anyway, so I'm gonna run down and grab the Bobcat real quick. We'll bring it up here and grab some of these nice cedar logs so we can make our legs for our new well house. This is some real life crap right here. I didn't know the tire was flat on the Bobcat, and I drove on it and it came off the rim. We're gonna get a strap on this thing and see if we can't reseat the speed on this tire. We got that reseated and got it pumped up. Now let's get back to what we were doing. I could honestly make a 10-hour video every day of all the little roadblocks like this I run into, but we're not going to. Start with the shortest one we got on here first. This one is about 10.5 foot long. This will make a nice 4x4. I couldn't believe this thing actually has some sapwood still on it. Look at that. It's rotted, but it's not going to affect anything. We're going to go way past this sapwood back into the heart. The heart is the good stuff, and that's the stuff that virtually never rots. That's why it's so great and bug resistant. Gotta get the old LM30 fired up. We're going to get this thing cut down to a 4x4. Time to reveal this grain. Look at that. Oh yeah. There's that beautiful red cedar heart. That was a pretty heavy cut, but we don't have time to waste on this. We're starting to lose a little daylight. I need to get this wood cut before dark so we can get on this tomorrow and build this well house. I think I decided instead of 4x4s, I'm gonna go with 5x5s on these posts. I think they'll look nicer and be a little stronger too. So even though cedar is bug resistant and a rot resistant wood and will virtually last forever, it is a very brittle wood. And I want to make this pretty strong because I want it to last forever. And I don't want any strong winds or a tornado to come through here and rip this thing apart. All right, so that's one down, 3 more to go. Pretty, ain't it? Well, that wasn't planned, but did you hear that? Look at that. That's a darn screw. Oh, wow. No, look at that. That's a big square head nail. I thought it was a screw right here because it has a silver part, but if you look at it real good, that's a big, looks like an old roofing nail or something. Anybody ever seen anything like that? I'll tell you what, in cedar trees, you find some of the craziest stuff. I'll tell you what I have found on a cedar tree once. It was a toy car. And I don't know if it got down in the tree somehow, but sometimes cedar will grow and it'll have bark on the inside. It just kind of folds over itself the way it grows. But yeah, this was like a roofing nail or something. I never seen one like it because it's square. If we can pull that nail out of there and see what it looks like. Yeah, that's a booger there. I don't know if I can get it out here or not. Oh yeah, here it comes. Oh, there it goes. I dropped it. Oh, there it is. So there it is, folks. I don't know what kind of nail that is. Is that a shingle nail or a roofing nail? None I've ever seen. I've never seen one like this before. Tell me in the comments, old timers, because I know this nail is probably really old. What is that for? And why is it in this tree? I better put this in the truck somewhere, or it'll end up in a tire or something. There, right in the door. If anybody knows what kind of nail that was, put it in the comments. I'm curious. I've never seen one like that before. So we are using our brand new Cook's Super Sharp blades today, and that was a brand new blade. Yep, I'd say that one is toast. Even though this blade is pretty much toast, I think I'm going to continue my cuts on this thing and see if it won't cut the rest of the cedar rock. Cedar's pretty easy to cut, even with a messed up blade. So all All right, let's see if this blade will still cut. Contrast to the cedar sawdust versus the pine and poplar. Isn't it crazy? All right, it still cuts. We got quite a bit of washboarding in the lumber, but it's still cutting. So I'm going to continue to use this blade, and we're going to finish this log out at least. I might even cut the next logs with it, just because I don't want to hit anything else. I'm going to make the last cut on this post here using this old blade that hit a nail and see how it cuts. All right, that came out pretty good, but we are going to change that blade. That's pretty rough, and the blade tried to climb on me when I first started cutting. I had to reset that cut and start over again and run slow. So we're going to change that blade out. Yeah, I probably don't have to tell you, this is the nastiest looking one so far. But we're gonna make it look nice. I went ahead and cut all those down to 11 foot, so the roof's not gonna be any more than 8 foot tall on the tallest end, and maybe 6 foot on the other end, maybe 7. Hadn't decided yet. I'll have 2 foot in the ground. Actually, I'll probably have 18 inches in the ground. Or I'll have as far as my auger will dig in the ground. We'll cut the tops out to size them up before we put the roof on once they're in the ground. And I did put on a new blade. That is one of my sacrificial wood miser blades. I don't want to run another Cook's blade, so I need those for a job I'm doing with some poplars. I'll run these crappy blades with my projects. I think this one's gonna have a little bit of weighing on the top and in the center, but it's okay because all I really need is 2 good flat sides, because all that's gonna be hid and that top side is gonna be in the ground anyway. Look at that. I don't know what that is. Is that stink bugs? Those are stink bugs. They're green. I don't know if I've ever seen a green one. They must have a nest in here. That's crazy. Maybe I should squish one and see if it stinks. Huh. It's a rough looking log here. This end doesn't matter. Like I said, this end right here is going to be in the ground. Actually, it depends how tall this needs to be. But either way, it ain't going to matter. You ain't going to see it no way. I just need 2 flat sides. Well, she ain't pretty, but we got it out of the way. It will make a post. It will make a post. All right, this tree's not that great, but definitely better than the last one. It's ugly, but like I said, it'll make a post. I think most of the cedar trees I have left is pretty much only good for post wood. I don't even advertise cedar lumber anymore. All right, one more cut on this thing. We'll have our 4 posts. All right. There it is. There's our 4th post. I don't know what that is. Some of that doty in the bark. But there it is. That came out pretty good. Like I said, I really only need 2 flat sides. But this one's pretty nice all the way down. Beautiful eastern red cedar. Or juniper. Depends where you're from and what you guys call it where you're from. But I call it eastern red cedar. Look at that pretty sawdust. That stuff is so purple. Well, there it is, folks. There's our 4 posts we needed for our pole barn well house. That's going to be a nice one. They come out pretty nice. This one on the end here is pretty rough. It's got a little bit of sapwood still in it. I'm going to try to chip that out and get rid of anything that could, it's not going to rot into the red part of the wood, but just to get it out of there. If not, I'll just cut another post, no worries. But they came out great. Those are going to work out perfect. I'll put those directly in the ground, no cement, anything. I'll probably pack some rocks in the hole once I dig a hole, and we'll stick that in there just to help with drainage and stuff, but they come out pretty nice. Well, we're running to the night cutting our post, and I just like having these short days. I'd rather have the long summer days myself, but it's okay. We had lights on the sawmill and they really help out. Now, our well house build is going to be a 2-part series. I wanted to get the wood cut for it today and get everything ready for that. And tomorrow I'll be building that well house, and I'll be recording every bit of it, and I'll show it to you in the next video. This is going to be it for tonight, and I hope you enjoyed me cutting these posts, that beautiful Eastern red cedar. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe if you hadn't already. Make sure you hit that like button if you like this video. Hope you guys have a great weekend. See you on the next one.